Straw Hut Media.
We're better together with Ann and Heather.
All right, you guys, it's another episode of Just the Two of Us with Ann and Heather.
I can't believe that they get better and better, can you?
Well, we do have some fun today, and I hope you guys enjoy. You're going to get a little sneak peek into what it's like for Ann to do press. Ann reveals something about what happened in our virtual press junket in the midst of COVID.
And you
that I told her not
say
to. It's on the record that I told her not to. I said, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. She's doing it right now.
You don't want to say it. You don't want to say it. You might want to listen. I said it.
And then we talk about other stuff. Just listen. It's really funny.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Better Together with Ann and Heather. It is an exciting day for me to be here as I have just arrived back from Amarillo, Texas, where I was shooting a movie called What Remains. But the more important part of today is not only that Heather and I are going to catch up about what's been going on, but there's a celebration that has gone on this week, and it is from my dearest and my love, and I know Heather calls him her precious.
Precious.
But Mr. Henry has turned 17 years old, my driver. My driver to be
our safe ride.
Yeah, our safe ride. And so I just want to do a shout out to Henry, say happy birthday to Henry, my other son, and how amazed I am to have you in my life. So this podcast is dedicated to Henry.
Oh, little Henry.
Oh, little Henry. So I think he got a what? He got a wonderful.
He loved the hat you got him from Amarillo. He loved that.
Well, here we go. Why don't you take us away from where we're back from?
Amarillo.
Let's do that.
Okay, so we've been putting some fun stuff on your Instagram about your adventures in Amarillo. Yeah. And as you all know, as you start to follow Ann in her adventures, whenever she goes on location for a movie, she creates a little home for herself there and meets everybody in town. And I didn't get to go this time. I got to go last time you went to Georgia.
Much of my heartbreak.
And so you were in Amarillo, Texas.
Yes.
In a tiny little town, doing another disaster movie, which seems to be your jam.
Well, we have an exciting moment because what I did is a film called What Remains with Nathan Scoggins directed, and it's very special for me to be able to do first time director films because the passion that the director, especially if it's a director writer getting his first opportunity and is being given his chance to show his all of his bells and whistles for being a director, and he's a teacher, and many of his students were on set with us. And
that's fun.
So it was a very small crew. And when I say small, I would say there were about 20 people on set every day. But the fun that I have when I do movies like this is that the passion that everyone agrees on is because nobody's getting paid. Most people are doing it there because of their love. And me too.
Well, I mean, you got paid.
I do, and they get paid a little bit. But it is a way to tell a story, and What Remains is a beautiful redemption story, and of course I'm attracted to that. Really, people getting to be able to look at their life and overcome some of the hurts that they've had to encounter in their life. So that's what
it was
What Remains was, and it really was. This was the script that Heather brought to me and said, listen, you're working, but I'm going to tell you this. You're going to love this character. You're going to love this story because this really is a story that connects with people healing their lives and getting to the other side of it. So that, of course, connected with me very much. I'm very happy to be back. I want to say hi to everybody from Amarillo.
But wait, I want to say something about, I think it's really cool that, I haven't been on movie sets my whole life, but when I have with you, I get the sense that each film or each show has its own vibe, right? That
yes.
It's got like its own energy, and that energy comes from the director or the cast or something. But one of the things that you showed in one of the videos you took for me was the gratitude wall that I thought was the coolest thing in the world. And anybody can do this in their office or in their home. I just thought it was the coolest thing. Will you tell us what it?
Well, I mean, we always say on Better Together, you want to have a little bit of a takeaway, and this really is the gratitude wall. So I had two girls, wonderful girls, Kelly and Kimberly, and the beauty team that structures, it's very different than when you do something that would say be for a photo shoot. So we do different photo shoots, and there's gorgeous pictures of me that are taken, and I appreciate all of those artists. When the hair and makeup team on a set for me it has a very specific function. I come in when I call it character in the bag because often you don't get to rehearse. But the character in the bag in this case came with me wearing a mullet. And John Leichfeld had constructed the character for me.
Your mullet
going to play a sheriff.
From Fashion Week in New York to Amarillo, Texas.
To Amarillo, Texas to play a sheriff. And I do try to take characters and turn them into something that people wouldn't normally expect. And when it comes to me, people are thinking, well, it's a strong woman. I do those well. It's a sheriff. I'll show up like kind of half dyke. I mean, literally, that's what they're allowed to say dyke anymore. That's not word. I'm going to be illegal. I'm like, I already told myself. I thought we called me uncanceled, so I can't get canceled again for saying something, right? Can I? Maybe I can.
I don't know.
Anyway, what I try to do is put a little bit of magic on top of it, and that takes a team. And the team starts here in Los Angeles and goes from John Leichfeld, you, Gregory Ault, and my kids all agreeing that this is the character I'm about ready to go to do. Amy Goodhart, doing my new style fashionista comes to me and we create it together, and then I bring it when it comes alive. So these two girls, and I bring it to a crew. And by the time I arrive, I'm pretty secure and have already determined with the director, this is who it's going to be. And this Maureen was going to be a rock star sheriff in a town seeking truth. And so these girls, these two beautiful girls, Kelly and Kimberly, who I say hello to, had in their little trailer. And by the way, this is a little trailer, Heather. They didn't even have one the first day. And I really appreciate it.
I know you like the double wide. They didn't have your double wide.
I ain't no double wide on this
all
one.
Right.
And these girls created a little home for all of the actors to come into to set up their characters in the most beautiful way. And it really is the beginning moment of your day. You get up at 4:00 in the morning and you arrive. And when I looked up on this wall, and you and I are posted, we're a Post-it team. We've showed our Post-its. We have them.
We like ourselves a Post-it.
Yes, we do. And we have Post-it walls. And when I looked up and saw the gratitude wall is a wall that the girls set up in their little trailer. And they had a stack of Post-its and they had a stack of stickers. And whoever came into the trailer would put a gratitude sign of something they were grateful for in their day up on the wall. And by the end of the shoot, there was a beautiful
What were
wall
some of the things that were up there?
Well, people were very grateful for our hair and makeup. And the first day, and I have to say, when I say this is a little movie, I showed up the first day and I was like, everything's good, everything's great, everything's wonderful. Just get me my cup of coffee and my breakfast sandwich. I'll be good. And they said, oh, no, we don't have any coffee.
They had a term for it that you never heard of, right?
No, a term like, there was an acronym like, E.
It was like BYOB, but
it was like E before you come.
Yeah.
I was like, EBC. EBC. I've never heard of that before. Like, what are you talking about? And they're like, well, it was on the call sheet. And I said, well, that's really interesting. If I had gotten a call sheet, and I'm talking about a tiny movie here. Yeah. If I had gotten a call sheet, I might have known EBC, but I'm in H and I need some coffee before I start. Yeah. But not only that, I need the crew to have coffee. Now, there is one thing that I do, and I stand up for my crews, but it is not okay to ask a group of people to come to set at 4:00 in the morning and expect that they will have already had their breakfast. This is something, this is something we like to change. So I will say the gratitude wall went up and the girl said, well, you know what we're grateful for? We're grateful for Ann saying we can have coffee on set. So that gratitude wall.
We should do it. We could do it on that wall right there. We just got to
do a gratitude.
We just got to get our hands
wall.
on some Post-it notes, which is will be a whole affair, a whole afternoon for us trying to figure out
where
one acquires those. I know it's Office Depot.
It is.
I'm not an idiot.
Office Depot, here we come. Today I can say I'm very grateful for Ryan and Heather. I'm back in our studio and I am back with my family, and it makes me so happy. It makes me want to cry. So when we come back, we'll talk about the next wonderful things that we have to share with you this week, because I have a movie coming out and it is very exciting. I'm about ready to do another press junket with Heather because the last one wasn't so great. So when we come back, we're going to hear Heather's story about what happens on, press day.
Okay.
So I've been trying to cut down on carbs, sugar, and junk food and realized I basically can't eat anything anymore. And sometimes I'm just really craving something sweet. Magic Spoon is the perfect fix that feels like it's cheating, but it isn't. It has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Plus, there are only 140 calories a serving. It's keto-friendly, gluten-free, soy-free, low-carb, and GMO-free. It really has it all. And if you and your partner have different opinions on cereal flavors, don't worry. Magic Spoon's variety pack comes with 4 flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, and peanut butter. All of the flavors from your childhood, but it's super nutritious. I just had the cocoa flavor this morning, and it is the perfect way to start my day. But you can always have a bowl in the afternoon, too, when you need a little pick-me-up. To get your hands on a variety pack of Magic Spoon, just go to magicspoon.com/better. If you use the special promo code BETTER while checking out, you can save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. I have a feeling you won't need a refund, though. Trust me, my pantry is fully stocked with Magic Spoon at all times. It's so good.
It's not stocked now because I stole it.
Heather stole it. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/better and use the code BETTER to save $5 off.
So we have a press day coming up tomorrow, a big press junket, virtual press junket, which we did once before, kind of in the heart of COVID.
Yes.
And that's where these things were really started to happen. In the olden days, pre-COVID, we should start calling it BC, like before COVID.
It really is BC.
You would go to a hotel and be in a hotel room and just you'd say it. What was it like before?
I mean, it was like you would go to the Four Seasons and what would happen is that all of the press from all over the country, really. So I would say there would be about 50 outlets, and they would.
Were you in a hotel room or in like a hall?
We would be.
Like
we would be in a hotel room. They would set us up in a beautiful place. If anybody has ever, heard the story about what happened on Volcano, the press day is a day where you are actually there. There are 2 things that happen. Press people are positioned in different rooms,
and it's like every 10 minutes.
And yes.
And they ask you the same questions over and over again.
Well, they do. It gets a little redundant. Nobody can. What do people say when? On Broadway, there was a determination of an understanding of what insane means, and what insane means is that you say the same thing over and over and over again every single night.
Hoping for a different result is actually the same.
You're doing the same thing. When you're on Broadway for 8 months in a row, you have to understand you do 8 shows a week and you're doing the same thing over and over. Now, that is the definition of insanity. And there are different things on Broadway that you do because people try to mess with each other. When you start really getting good as a cast, you mess with each other. You put a shot of vodka in 5 different places for your teammate so that when they go there, you have to take the shot. Well, the game then becomes the next time you see a shot in a different, you have to take it. This is
like the Peter Pizzoli version.
This is the Peter Pizzoli of Broadway. Here we go, Ryan. Cheers.
Cheers.
But there's a miracle that's going on right now because this is my second very big disaster movie after Volcano. So in a way, is my comeuppance, and it took a long way. It took a long time, but this movie, 13 Minutes, has been structured, and we shot it 2 years ago, and because of COVID, it was pushed back. So there's a bit of a moment of real amazement going on right now that this movie is even coming out.
and we haven't even had time, so you don't even know what is happening the next 2 weeks.
Oh, no, I have no idea. But I also know that the last press junket we had was with a movie that had a director that Thomas, Jane, and I were supporting in doing The Vanished, which is still on Netflix. And by the way, I appreciate everybody who has watched it, because now I think it's over 200 million people. And I got to say thank you so much. Nobody's ever seen me that much. I hope 13 Minutes does the same.
Everybody watched that Barbara Walters.
Our Barbara Walters. I'm the only one who didn't.
Don't Google it.
But this 13 Minutes was kind of a big deal. It's a very important storyline for me, for the characters that I'm playing. But also, Peter Facinelli is in and one of the stars of 13 Minutes, and was also the director of the move of right. So it's amazing how things come back around. But he was the director, of course, of The Vanished that Thomas and I did. And I would just love for you, and I mean Thomas Jane when I say that, an actor I've known for 25 years and a love affair with, but also worked with on a hung. It was quite a day for Heather, our last press junket. Do you mind just a tiny bit of how different this one is going to be? But can you just tell us a tiny bit, because I think the audience would like to know. Okay.
Well, first of all, they start early in the morning, which on this last one back in COVID times, nobody woke up early, like nobody woke up early. So to like have to be,
because we drank ourselves into oblivion, we all wanted to sleep in, and nobody was going to school,
which was part of the problem was with Thomas, because he's not an early riser and he was a little bit disgruntled to wake up early. And so I'm not going to get.
Well, Heather, you were doing Good Morning America, which was in New York, so we had to be up at 3:00 in the morning.
That was a different day.
Okay, you tell the story.
So. By the way, we're never going back to those press junkets in person, in hotels. They will be online like this for the rest of our lives. Nobody will ever get their asses there. And I thought of that the moment that the press junket started to come together. I was like, nobody's ever going back. You're not getting people on planes.
You're not going to fly 50 people when you can just have people on Zoom.
Done. Right. So we have a day, it starts at 9 and it ends at 3, and it's just straight through press. And I don't want to get into too much detail about what was said.
Just tell the highlight.
Well, I can't tell the highlight.
You must.
No, I'm not doing that.
You must.
I'm not.
Okay. Why not?
I can just say
it was forever ago.
Thomas was very tired, and he said something when they asked him.
If you don't tell the audience what he said, then it's not fair to tell the story.
What have you been doing during COVID?
What have you been doing during COVID, Thomas? How about I ask you? How about you pretend you're Thomas? I'm going to say
I don't want to do that to him.
You should. Yeah,
I don't.
Okay, why don't you ask me what I did during COVID?
No, because I know what you're going to say.
Yeah, you're bet. Now listen, I got to tell the audience, because otherwise it's just not fair. Thomas looked at the interviewer and said, after being asked, what have you been doing during COVID, and said,
I'm not going to say it.
A lot of ass fucking. Yep, it happened. It was live, folks, and it was live on Good Morning America. Heather nearly popped off the couch.
I fell off the couch into a fetal position.
And then realized she only had a 3-minute delay to get on the phone with New York to make sure.
It was a nightmare. And it reflected poorly on me.
Yes.
Because I had.
Well, yeah.
Not
intentionally.
I was his PR person at the time.
Yes, we hired her for one project for Thomas. And that was the end of that.
But I didn't know that was.
Nobody ever would have thought, Heather, that would come out of anyone's mouth on live television.
I honest to God think he was.
We'll forgive him for that. However,
and
Heather nearly.
And by the way,
we were the first 2 actors that she ever represented. She only represented companies.
But I represent, business leaders that are interviewed,
but not idiot actors like Thomas.
That is definitely true. The good news
is, she never will again, except she has to, because she's my business partner.
That I did notice, even in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, Anne's never looked straighter. Like, she's so composed. She's so and I'm like, because next to this, I mean, how could you not?
I've never looked better.
What I should have done, and what I did the next day, but what I should have done is I should have said, go back to bed, you're done.
And unfortunately, that didn't happen. Next, his shirt came off.
Yes.
And we were attempting to get the shirt back on while Heather was talking to Good
No,
Morning
actually,
America.
you could see them being interviewed, and then my hands going in there and
And to try to button his shirt, we finally got it on his
was
shoulders.
very tired.
It was not good.
He was very tired.
It was a basic insult across the board to me, Peter, the movie, you. It was a fell swoop. The one thing he did was take us all down together.
Yes. Yes.
And it is going to be interesting to see, don't you think, if Peter Machinelli, now who is in 13 Minutes, one of my co-stars in 13
Well,
Minutes,
by the way,
is ever going to bring up what the press is, because Peter and I are going to be doing some interviews together, and there's nothing better than a celebration, that Peter did and has put me in the movie that has been, 6 days, 7 nights might have trumped that one. But however, recently, and now we get to be in a movie together and we're actors together, and I don't think you're going to have the same interaction with Peter Facinelli that you did with Thomas Jane.
Well, no, he won't be in the room with us. And he's also not my responsibility. And I don't think that
there are very few times that a publicist fires a client, and it was done.
Yeah.
Things were done. Next, I had to fire him. But,
I said that he was a good guy, because when I said what you're doing now is really reflecting poorly on me, and he reeled.
So did you lay it down after you sent him to bed, and then what happened?
And then I basically said, because I knew him well enough to know that he didn't care if he doesn't give a fuck what they think about him.
Well, right. But we were asking for some respect about it.
He's a kind-hearted person at his core.
Yes.
So when I said, you're getting me in trouble.
That's right.
This reflects, and then he stopped.
Yes,
because he was misbehaving and having fun with it, because he just genuinely doesn't care.
Well, but he genuinely was liking watching us, having worked so hard to get these interviews, to get this done, to be able to do this. Remember, this was during COVID, so nobody knew how press junkets were done.
Also, the other thing that I said to him was, right before, I'm like, this is ABC. You're about to do ABC. And we knew you were going to be on Dancing with the Stars. And I'm like, you're going to ruin.
You're going to ruin it for him.
This was days before we announced that you were going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
That's right.
And we're like, and so I'm like, ABC, behave. And he did.
He did, only because I don't know. There are very few times, and Heather, you and I have said this about each other. Like, I will full out scream my ass off. I will make it known if I am disgruntled. I will do it. I will say what my piece is. And then, but even my children will say, but guess what? You will know when mom's done, and it will never come back again. But now I'm trying to get
I'll
mom a little more tame.
And
Heather
torture you over
seethes
for years until I pop.
And then it's done. And then when the gauntlet comes down, you're like, oh fuck, oh Jesus, I guess you're being serious. But you will hold it in. You will hold it in. You are the opposite of me. You will hold it in. You will hold it in. You're getting better at that, and also I'm getting better at maybe not being so forceful when I out with my disgruntledness.
You're not. I wouldn't say
I'm being a little more I'm
Yeah.
a little bit more tempered in how I communicate now. But there is one thing that I've always done, and if we talk about Better Together, we talk about our takeaways, we talk about what we do. There is something to me about honesty and clarity that I really like, and we're doing this with Dr. E. We're learning our red zones. I've learned a lot. I've learned how to temper my overwhelming emotion that I get, which goes from 0 to 100% immediately. And I think I've gotten better. I'm patting myself on the back in the middle of talking about press.
But I don't think that I'm alone in what happened to me in that moment. Was I was panicked.
Well, who wouldn't be? You just heard, what have you been doing during COVID? A lot of ass fucking.
So you don't need to say it
gave him
twice.
3 different things to say. By the way, we wrote him 3 different lines he could say, even if he was tired and spitting up. Doesn't matter. The guy could have been dying. He would have known what to say.
By the way, the one thing I never asked you was that true? Did you do a lot of ass fucking during COVID?
A lot of ass fucking is impossible unless you're gay, I think. And I don't mean, I'm not sure. There's a lot of things that need to be taken care of. And I think on one of our podcasts, we should have a gay sex expert come on and talk to us, because
I learned what a butt plug was this year.
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of different holes that we have yet to explore in our lives, and we want to be clean about it. When we come back, we'll talk about what we're going to do next. You all know Heather is crazy about skincare. Some of her home remedies have been a bit strange. For example, want to share?
Strange? You think it's strange to put 10 different products on your face before you go to bed? That it takes me an hour and a half to put on all of my stuff before I go to bed? That I rub needles on my face?
Exactly. None of that works. But you do know what actually works? Prescription treatments. That's why we're excited to partner with Apostrophe. Apostrophe is a prescription skincare company that offers science-backed oral and topical medications that are clinically proven to help clear acne. Apostrophe connects you with a board-certified dermatologist who will create a personalized treatment plan that is perfectly tailored to your unique skin. Apostrophe treats acne, and they can also help you hit your other skincare goals, like reducing redness, wrinkles, and even dark spots. Heather will love this. Heather, what are some of your skincare goals?
All the things you just said.
That's why we have a special deal for our audience. Save $15 off your first visit with a board-certified dermatologist at apostrophe.com/better when you use our code BETTER. This code is only available to our listeners. To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/better and click begin visit, then use our code BETTER at sign up, and you'll get $15 off your dermatology visit. That's apostrophe.com/better and use that code BETTER to get your dermatology visit and save $15. And we thank Apostrophe for sponsoring the podcast. Okay, so we're back, and I know we did a little bit of, I'm going to go, fucking, because I know Heather's going to get uncomfortable with the word it's A-Double-Squiggle, right?
What?
But what came out, A-Double-Squiggle, hello? Hi, I'm not saying A-Double-Squiggle.
What, am I dumb?
Yes.
A-Double-Squiggle?
Fucking. A-Double-Squiggle, fucking.
Why
I'm
does
not
that?
saying I'm not saying the thing that
What
you don't
about
want me to say.
A-Double-Squiggle? What is that?
Ryan, I need some help. You're my producer. Ask.
Oh.
That's the one. Now, we aren't going to be playing charades with Heather tomorrow.
You know that you make your name everything, so I'm thinking that it's your name.
It's not Ann fucking. No, Ann fucking. Wow. Ann fucking might be exactly the great intro to what Ryan showed us. Now, we have some very, very beautiful friends that we've done. Now, Gigi, Heather.
She has a podcast, Genuinely Gigi, that Ryan also produces. And she was on our show.
And we've been on it.
Did we go on her show?
Yes, we did.
Did we?
Yep, we did. Oh. But I want to go back because they get sex toys when they talk about things like masturbation. Now, I'm just going to show to anybody who's got to go, and you got to go on ANH.com. Where the fuck do we go? Better Together with Ann and Heather, or anywhere where your podcasts are listened to. Listen, go to YouTube. I don't care. You are going to want to see the sex toy that Gigi got sent to her once she found out that her podcast partner masturbated for the first time. Now, I'm going to tell that story on their podcast, or I will die when my first masturbation session. But firstly, I'm going to give you guys it's just a fun game. Go to YouTube and look at the sex toy that Gigi got sent for her friend when she started talking about masturbation. I'm going to hold it up to the camera. And I'm going to have Ryan focus in. And this is Ryan's dick.
He had a mold made of it.
He had a mold made of it. And we are going to start our new line of sex toys based on Ryan. This is all Ryan before he gets married, folks. You know he's getting married in May.
Yeah.
Now, listen, this will only be available until wedding night. So everybody must come and purchase. Anyway, this is the kind of stuff we get into here on Better Together with Ann and Heather. Now, I'm going to put this away because I'm starting to get hot. So I'm going to put this down.
I'm actually starting to get hot. I think we need to turn the AC on.
She is starting to get hot. I said that as a joke, but it's kind of true. All right. Well, Let's not talk about sex toys anymore because I haven't had a date since January. Heather is leaving. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to talk about the first time I masturbated until Heather gets back, and nobody's going to understand this. But I was on a soap opera, and my friend Anna Stewart, God bless her. Hi, Mama. I love you so much. Listen, the real mama. Who is the real mama? You know the real mama? She brings you something on a day after she finds out you've never masturbated before. I was 17 years old. I'm going to say I'm 18 because I wanted to be legal. I'm just going to say I was legal for Anna Stewart's, so she doesn't get arrested, basically. Well, and I came. She's back. Everybody, she's back.
Oh, he's
so
now.
And now Heather, my ADD partner, is looking across the way at a guy who's sitting half naked in a window. And by the way, I don't blame her because she looks at me a lot during the day.
Down, but left them up so that we can still see his body.
So I'm just wondering if we just shouldn't show him Ryan's dick.
Stop it. Okay, we're totally digressing.
We are digressing. I am going to tell the masturbation story once I get onto Gigi's podcast again. So everybody, you got to stay tuned. But right now, Heather is going to tell me what is going to be happening this week with me. Not like our same last movie.
Well, no, basically.
Yes?
Basically,
Go.
what's going to happen now is you've been gone so long. We've been
Am
so
I going to
busy.
get a dildo?
We're going to actually
I'm going to get dildoed?
let people in on.
Oh.
We're basically going to have a
Ryan's
meeting.
shaking his head. He's like, no, you don't get
Stop
that
it.
dildo.
You're not focused.
Go.
We're going to have a meeting about what's going on in the next couple of days. If
Oh
people
my God,
wonder,
you're gonna fill in the audience on what happens to me when Heather tells me what's going on in my week of press. Go.
and it's okay. So here it's
it have dildos?
7:30 in the morning. Your hair and makeup is arriving. Since you've lost your mobile phone, how are you planning to wake up?
Well, I already have Atlas on the detail of setting my iPad to be my alarm.
Okay.
It'll work.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
Uh-huh.
So
what's next?
They're coming.
I get up. I wake up.
They're coming at 7:30. I'm not, because what's the point?
Again, why would she?
So
Unless
I'm
she
going to
brings a
drop off
dildo.
little precious Henry at school, and I'll be here at 8:30.
He's not little precious Henry. And if you say that one more time when he's 17 years old, I personally am going to kick your ass.
I'll be here at 8:30.
All right, 8:30, and then I will be what? Dolled and
Not
ready
yet.
to go.
And then we start at 9.
Not yet.
And then you do several interviews with Peter. 1, 2.
Now this
three,
go Peter Facinelli.
4,
Peter Facinelli.
5,
Peter Facinelli. By the way, we
6,
didn't even do
7.
a scene together in 13 minutes, but by golly, I spent enough time with him on his own set. Yes.
One of the outlets is called the Oklahomian.
The Oklahomian. These people are my people. I'm gonna wear my.
You're doing
I'm
Forbes,
gonna wear my cowboy hat.
Forbes, CNN,
Forbes?
Movie Phone,
I am that.
Spectrum.
Pardon?
Okay.
Spectrum.
Spectrum. It's a network. People.
People.
Okay, and you're doing that
like
solo. There's literally like 30, so I'm not going to name them all.
This is interesting and also fun because I also have to tell everybody. Yeah, but everybody knows that I go in and out of fame. Sometimes I'm in, sometimes I'm out.
Okay, well,
this
you're
seems
in
to be
tomorrow.
an in moment.
Okay, so you do okay. This is interesting. The New York Post has asked specifically if they can ask the question. Focus.
Sorry.
If they can ask the question, do you think that you would be treated differently by the press today if you were dating Ellen? And the answer is like,
But duh.
I said you would talk about it. They're like, we understand if she doesn't want to talk about it, but hell yeah, you're going to talk about it.
Well,
'Cause
this
the
is
answer
like
yes.
this is Heather's entire. No, she and I have been very specifically doing better together for 3.5 years, I would say. And so the closer we get to the targets that you set for us, the more excited I get because she really did. She's like, shit has got to be clarified.
Well,
and you did it, but for people who don't understand what it is to work with, well, yes, yes, you represent me. You're PR. You're also my business partner. But in crafting what it is to be probably one of the most misunderstood celebrities, I will say that, how people see me and how I'm received. And again, this is what I do my art about too, perspective, point of view. Heather's point of view and perspective on me is what's true. And the other is an option. But in order for us to be able to do better together with Ann and Heather as the podcast, there has been a very specific rollout, not necessarily slow, but slower than I would have if I could have. But in her sculpting and understanding of the truth of my life, where I came from, what my history is, what I did in this world, how I fashioned myself to be a celebrator of truth. Let's say that. And so as these things are now rolling out, I would say there's a small celebration for you, Heather. Is it a little bit?
Yeah.
How do you feel about what's happening with press right now from where we began? This is a fun question, and you don't often get interviewed. How do you feel about what's going on with the story around ANH and what it is that you've crafted is because this is a really cool part of what our partnership is and where I've come.
I can say that I like to see what's happening in the news about it. What I get aggravated by are comments on social media. Like when we did that whole thing and it went on Perez Hilton's thing, a lot of people were commenting like, Anne should just get over Ellen. Like, it was a lot. Why are you always talking about Ellen? Why is it? And it's like, that's not actually the case. You never talk about Ellen. And by the way, it's actually not about Ellen. It's about the stand that you took at that time and the effect that it had on your career. And now what you stood up for that was so you were vilified for now is being celebrated by everybody. And that the reason it's being celebrated is because people like you took a stand. So I want to craft, because this is the other thing that we do. And since you're in on our meeting, I want to figure out exactly what you're going to say to the New York Post in that thing. And I want you to say that you were patient zero in the cancel culture. Because
I don't think I can actually claim that for myself. However, that's
well, yes,
why I
you
have
can.
A business by
You
now.
were patient zero in the cancel culture.
There we go. She just told me what I'm going to say, folks. And by the way, when you see it right now, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to start doing press, and what you're going to hear me say is I was patient zero in the cancel culture. And I was the verse to uncancel myself here on Better Together with Ann and Heather. So when you see things go out, and the amazing thing is, and you've watched it, and I'm just going to list a couple of things that you can go and look at. Whenever you see me in the headlines in the last 3 years, this has been a structured thing. And I don't think people know it, but it is one of the talents that when people ask about what PR is or what it means, I think it's a really interesting thing to define. What it means is, very specifically, if you see something in the headline right now of anything that I do, whether it's Anne H was seen dating Peter Thomas Roth, and they ask for a comment on page 6. Heather calls me, we talk about it, and we craft our response. And our response was exactly the truth, but it is very specific. And the specificity was, yes, it's really wonderful that I'm meeting friends, and I'm a single person, and I'm dating, and it's wonderful to have friends. It was more specific than that, because that's why I have Heather to craft the sentences. So now what you're starting to understand as we share this kind of thing with you in what our partnership is, it's not a small deal to enter a partnership with anybody, no matter what you're doing, whether we're entering with Ryan and we're doing this podcast together, whether it's entering a partnership with Heather. And hopefully we have young enough viewers that are starting to understand the bond, the trust, the absolute. I have always said to Heather, once we decided that we were 50-50 partners, what she says goes. I don't question that. To be able to have that kind of partnership is really cool. Sometimes I look at her like, but it takes about a second of, okay, I'm in. So what am I? Ground zero. I like ground zero. I like being there.
Patient zero.
Patient zero.
Ground zero brings up other things.
Well,
see, get it right. Don't.
It's really, see why
don't
I
ask fuck it tomorrow, please. Please.
I'm not going to ask fuck it. I am not going to ask fuck. Actually,
okay, and then wait. So more.
What I
so
do
okay. So
anymore.
New York Post is audio only, so that's good.
Oh,
so I can be miming. What
Money
else?
for
Let me
ass
see what
fucking.
else is interesting to tell you. Oh, that you're doing the Adam Carolla show, which will be
Adam
fun.
Carolla!
That's not tomorrow.
I love Adam. I wanted Adam to be on our show. I want to be on that show. I love Adam. I've been on his show a couple of times.
You're doing Sandra Bernhard too.
I love Sandra.
She has a radio show.
Oh my God. Not only does she have it, she's had it forever. And I've been on her a couple of times. I love Sandra Bernhardt. She and I will have, you guys have so much fun to listen to because just like Heather and me, we go off the rails. We say we're going to talk about one thing, but it's just like Adam Carolla has a blast with me. Jason Ellis. We have some people who have been in our lives who we really, really like. Gigi, now you're one of them. Jason Tardik, right? Doctor. These people who have podcasts that I get to go on, but I have to say I have a little bit of a Carolla crush. I don't know if he's single.
You do? Interesting.
I do. But I also like Dr. Drew. And what I like about both of them and what they did is that they started to talk to kids honestly about what was going on with them in their lives. Sexually, emotionally, physically. They went in and dealt with it. That was one of the coolest shows that they did. Dr. Drew being the doctor, Adam Carolla
Love
being
Line, that's what it was
Love
called.
Line. And I loved Love Line. I loved Dr. Drew. But I loved Adam.
I didn't know he did that show with him. He did?
Oh, that was
okay.
the dynamic duo. I mean, if I could say right now, if there's anything that I would love to do, it would be to create an honesty and an honest conversation for the young adults that we do and the women who are over 50, like we do, and whatever generation in between, men and women. But what Adam and Dr. Drew did was create a template to be able to talk honestly about the shit that was going on with young adults. And I so respect that. So I will forever, and not only, whatever, Adam Carolla, you're fun as fuck.
I don't know what day that is, but it's not tomorrow.
We're going to do it, so you better pay attention.
We're doing some random show that I said yes to. I don't really know why. But
random, because we're just going wild now. We're going hog wild with Ann being
Well, no, it
whatever,
was a serious radio show, and he looked really young and hip, and he has a lot of followers.
Yes,
I don't
okay,
know who
good.
he is.
Young and hip we do.
We're also doing KTLA. If you remember the last time you did KTLA.
That was another Thomas Miss fuck up, but we're not going to talk about
No, we are
Thomas.
going to talk about that because that's actually on Wednesday.
Oh.
So you got to be up at
KTLA.
You got to be up
like
at 9
3
for that.
a.m.
No, it's
fuck off.
9. It's 9. But let me tell you what happened the last time you were on KTLA. You came because Thomas misbehaved and they were living together. Anne came and lived with me for a week.
Oh.
I was exhausted. My dog
after the
was
ass fucking, it got really bad.
So she
nobody wanted to talk to Thomas anymore. So I moved out of my house
and moved into my Heather's. House. And so we did the remainder of the press
with her 2 kids in
there. And I remember
and her dog who would haunt
in the
my
morning.
leg,
Henry's like okay.
All over me as KTLA is going, and Heather's like, oh Jesus.
He really was.
Get off her lap. Like, oh my God. And I'm like, hi. And he's
was
like,
literally like,
remember the last time I saw you, you were talking about ass fucking with Tommy. I'm like, are we rolling? I'm like, the dog's
this
nipping
is not
at my
the
vagina.
Story I'm telling.
I'm just telling you that's what happened.
Okay.
At Heather's house.
So people wonder, like, what do these big fancy actresses do to get on these shows?
What do we do?
So we're supposed to be ready. I got to get on there at 8:45 to make sure they Skype for whatever reason. And I never know my Skype address. So it's a whole situation, right? So I'm getting there and I can't find Anne in the house. I thought you were in bed next to me. I've got a big king size bed. I thought you were in the bed.
Oh no, it's where
but
I
you
slept
weren't.
for sure.
And,
well, you have a
and
beautiful
so I
bed. I
woke
kind
up-
of disappeared.
I woke up and I couldn't find you
Oh, I don't know this.
anywhere. And we're on in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I'm like, where did she go? I find you curled up in my den on that little love seat couch in like a flop sweat. And I'm like,
so her dog wasn't fucking me.
I'm like, bro, you're on KTLA.
So I wasn't ass fucked by a dog.
You're
before
on KTLA
again
in 15 minutes, So she
I'm like,
goes upstairs. She somehow comes down like totally put together. And I'm just like, what?
Heather has always been surprised by how fast I can get my shit together.
I'm like, I would have been like an hour and a half, And so you got your shit together.
It's because I don't use products.
If people knew that interview that you literally were asleep 10 minutes prior, they would not have believed it.
No, if we did a before and after of you finding me on
like,
your love seat.
Oh my God, I didn't know. I looked everywhere.
And there I am, folks.
I thought you left. I thought you Ubered back to Thomas or something.
Yeah, I don't think I would have done that to you. I love you too much.
All right, what else? What
Is
else?
that it?
No. Oh,
No.
The book.
Wait, no, you don't understand. I'm guest hosting again.
Oh yeah, you're guest hosting.
One of my favorite things in the world to do.
You're guest hosting on The Real.
A talk show host. But
You're guest hosting on The Real.
I've always thought that Heather and I should be talk show hosts.
Oh, we'd have to
For
guess
anybody
the
who's
we'd have to
watching,
guess
It
the
should be late night, motherfuckers, because we'll talk about.
I also don't know what day
ass
that is,
fucking
but I
shit.
know it's in November.
Oh, it's in November.
It's in the calendar.
But it's not.
And
this
you
week.
can't believe the paperwork that I have to do for you to guest host.
No, I know. It was like
that's
getting
like
into the Kremlin.
I can't.
What's it called? The
yeah.
Kremlin.
Yeah, it's like.
Is that the Russian thing?
I don't even. I
You
can't
can't
even,
get through the door.
I can't even tell you all the things that I have to do to make that happen.
Ass fuck and stuff. All right.
All right, and then there's more.
No,
but
I'm
whatever.
gonna stop
But-
making that joke.
but-
It will be the end of that joking. Not
God.
really. A-Double-Squiggle, and we're gonna ask Heather this. That would be like my drinking game. When I say A-Double-Squiggle, what does it mean, Heather? Hey,
Ass.
until next time, everybody, live in loving kindness.
And don't be a dick.
And a big thanks to our Better Together team, Ryan Tillotson, Sebastian Alcala, Daniel Ferreira, and of course, Ann and Heather. If you haven't already, please subscribe on whatever device or platform you're listening to this on. And as always, see you next week.
We're better together with Ann and Heather.